The gun was cold against Adana's temple. She could feel it, the metal pressed into her skin like ice burning through flesh. Her breath came in short, desperate gasps, and in that moment, standing in the dim shadows of an underground parking garage, she realized something terrifying. This wasn't supposed to happen to girls like her. She was a marketing coordinator. She paid her taxes. She called her mother every Sunday. But now, 3 armed men surrounded her, and the one holding the gun spoke in rapid Korean, his voice sharp and unforgiving. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, she knew exactly why they were here. His name was Minjun Park, Korean Mafia royalty. The man who'd looked at her across a crowded nightclub 3 weeks ago and decided she was his. The man who'd made her feel things she'd never felt before, touched places in her soul she didn't know existed. The man who'd warned her, his voice low and dangerous against her ear. "I'm not a good man, Adana. And I can't promise you forever. But I can promise you right now." She'd said yes anyway. Now his enemies had found her. And as the gun pressed harder against her skull, Adana wondered if one night of passion, of feeling truly alive for the first time in years, was worth dying for. "Where is Park?" the man demanded in broken English. Adana's phone buzzed in her pocket. She knew without looking it was him. Minjun always knew when she was in danger. The question was, would he get here in time? Welcome to Afro-Korean Love Stories. If you're loving this story, hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to watch would leave you speechless. Tell me in the comments which city you're watching from. I'd really love to know. Now, let's dive into it. 3 weeks earlier, Adana's life was completely different. She sat in her car outside the apartment she shared with Trevor, her hands gripping the steering wheel so hard her knuckles went white. Inside a small bag on the passenger seat was expensive lingerie she bought that morning. Red lace. His favorite color. It was their 3-year anniversary. She'd left work early, picked up Thai food from the place they went on their first date, and planned to surprise him. Maybe tonight would be the night he finally proposed. Her sister kept asking. Her mother kept hinting. And Adana? Adana was ready. She grabbed the food and the bag, her heels clicking against the pavement as she walked toward their building. The doorman smiled at her. Mrs. Chun from 4B waved. Everything was normal. Everything was perfect. Until she opened the apartment door. The sound hit her first. A woman's laugh. Breathy and intimate. Coming from their bedroom. Adana's heart stopped. She knew that laugh. The bag slipped from her hands, Thai food containers bursting open on the hardwood floor. But she didn't care. Her feet moved on autopilot, carrying her down the hallway toward their bedroom. Toward that laugh she'd heard 1,000 times at brunch, at birthday parties, at her sister's wedding where that woman had been the maid of honor. Rebecca. Her best friend since college. The bedroom door was half open. Adana pushed it wider. Trevor was in their bed. The bed they'd picked out together at IKEA, arguing playfully about firmness levels. And Rebecca was with him, her blonde hair spread across Adana's pillow, wearing nothing but Trevor's t-shirt. The one Adana had bought him for Christmas. They didn't even notice her at first. They were too wrapped up in each other, in whatever moment they were sharing. In the betrayal they'd apparently been sharing for God knows how long. How long? Adana's voice came out steady. Cold. She didn't even recognize it. They jumped apart. Trevor scrambled for the sheets. Rebecca's face went pale, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. Adana, I can explain. Trevor started, but Adana held up her hand.
How long?
Rebecca looked at Trevor. Trevor looked at the floor. 6 months, he finally whispered. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Of working late and guys' nights and I love yous that meant nothing. Half a year of Rebecca sitting across from her at their favorite coffee shop, listening to Adana talk about wedding plans, about wanting to start a family, about how lucky she was to have found Trevor. Get out, Adana said quietly. Adana, please, just listen. Rebecca reached for her, but Adana stepped back. Both of you, get out of my apartment.
Now.
It's my apartment too, Trevor said, and something in Adana snapped. You brought her into our bed. The scream tore from her throat, raw and primal. You brought my best friend into our bed, and you fucked her on sheets I washed. You, her voice broke. She wouldn't cry in front of them.
She wouldn't give them that.
Adana turned and walked out, grabbed her purse from the hook by the door, left the spilled Thai food, left the red lingerie, left 3 years of her life scattered across that apartment like broken glass. She made it to her car before the tears came. They came hard and ugly, racking sobs that made her whole body shake. She cried until her mascara ran in black rivers down her brown skin, until her throat was raw, until she couldn't breathe. Her phone buzzed. Trevor, we need to talk about this. Rebecca, I'm so sorry. You don't understand. It just happened. Just happened. Like betrayal was something that just occurred, like accidentally bumping into someone on the street. Adana blocked them both. She sat there in her car as the sun set, as the streetlights flickered on, as the world kept spinning like her entire life hadn't just imploded. She didn't know where to go.
Her apartment was tainted now.
Her best friend was gone. 3 years, erased in an instant. Her phone buzzed again. Different contact this time. Lisa from work. Girl, where are you? We're going out tonight. Lunar eclipse. I know a guy who can get us in. Drinks on me. Adana stared at the message. Lunar Eclipse was the most exclusive club downtown. The kind of place where celebrities and tech moguls and people with serious money went to be seen. Or to hide. She'd never been, never even tried. She looked at herself in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were swollen, her makeup destroyed, her heart in pieces. Maybe that was exactly what she needed. A place where nobody knew her. Where she could disappear into the music and the crowd and forget, just for one night, that she'd been stupid enough to trust the 2 people she loved most in the world. Adana texted back. What time? Lisa squealed when Adana showed up at her apartment 2 hours later, overnight bag in hand. Oh, honey. Lisa pulled her into a hug the moment she saw Adana's puffy eyes. What happened?
Trevor.
Rebecca. Our bed. Adana didn't elaborate.
She didn't need to.
That bastard. Lisa's perfectly manicured nails dug into Adana's shoulders. And Rebecca? You're Rebecca?
Adana nodded.
Okay. New plan. Lisa grabbed Adana's bag and pulled her inside. We're not just going out. We're going to make you forget those 2 ever existed. You're going to look so damn good that if they saw you, they'd die of regret. An hour later, Adana stood in front of Lisa's full-length mirror and barely recognized herself. The dress was red. Blood red. It hugged every curve of her body, cut low enough to be dangerous, short enough to make a statement. Lisa had insisted on it, and now Adana understood why. Against her dark skin, the red looked like fire, like power. Her natural curls were defined and wild around her face. Her makeup was flawless, gold highlights on her cheekbones catching the light. She looked beautiful. More than beautiful. She looked like someone else entirely. Who is this woman? Adana whispered, turning to see the back of the dress. Or lack thereof. That, Lisa grinned, is the woman who's about to have the best night of her life. That's the woman who doesn't give a damn about Trevor or Rebecca or any of it. That's the woman who's going to walk into Lunar Eclipse and own it. Adana took a deep breath. I don't know if I can do this. Yes, you can. Because you're done being safe, responsible Adana who does everything right and gets cheated on anyway. Tonight, you're someone new. Someone wild. Someone free. The words settled into Adana's chest like a challenge. Someone free. When was the last time she'd felt free? When was the last time she'd done something just because she wanted to, not because it was sensible or appropriate or what she was supposed to do? Let's go, Adana said. Lunar Eclipse was everything the rumors promised. The line outside wrapped around the block, beautiful people in designer clothes waiting behind velvet ropes. But Lisa walked right past them, heels clicking with confidence, and whispered something to the bouncer. He looked at his tablet, nodded, and unhooked the rope. Just like that, they were in. The music hit Adana like a physical force. Bass so deep she felt it in her chest, in her bones. The lights were low, strategic, making everyone look like they were moving through water. Or maybe that was the champagne Lisa immediately pressed into her hand. Drink, Lisa commanded.
Dance.
Forget.
Adana drank.
The champagne was expensive, bubbles sharp and bright on her tongue. She drank again, then again. The alcohol warmed her blood, loosened something tight in her chest. She let Lisa pull her onto the dance floor, let the music take over, let herself just be. For the first time all day, she wasn't thinking about Trevor, wasn't seeing Rebecca's face, wasn't wondering how she'd missed 6 months of lies. She was just here, in this moment, in this body,
Alive.
and then she felt it. Eyes on her. Adana's skin prickled with awareness. She turned, scanning the crowd, and that's when she saw him. He sat in the VIP section above the main floor, separated by glass and security and obvious wealth. Even from a distance, Adana could see he was beautiful. Dangerously so. Sharp jawline. Dark hair styled perfectly. A suit that probably cost more than her car. But it was his eyes that caught her. Held her. He was staring directly at her. Not the casual glance of someone people watching. Not the appreciative look she'd gotten from other men tonight. This was different. Intense.
Predatory.
Like he was hunting and she was prey. Adana should have looked away. Any sensible woman would have looked away. Instead, she held his gaze. She didn't know what made her do it. The champagne. The heartbreak. The need to feel like she had some kind of power in a day where she'd felt powerless. But she stared right back at him, lifted her chin, and didn't blink. Something shifted in his expression. Surprise, maybe. Or interest. He leaned forward, said something to the man beside him. Then he stood. Adana. Lisa grabbed her arm. Do you know who that is?
No. Who?
Lisa's voice dropped to a whisper. That's Minjun Park. His family basically owns half the city. There are rumors he's connected to some serious people. Dangerous people. Like, organized crime dangerous. Adana's heart kicked up a notch. How do you know? Everyone knows. He doesn't come to places like this often, and when he does, people notice. Adana, seriously, don't. But it was too late. A man in a black suit appeared at Adana's elbow. Not threatening, but definitely security. Mr. Park would like to send you a drink, he said in perfect English. What would you like? Lisa's eyes went wide. Adana's pulse thundered in her ears. This was insane. This was dangerous. This was exactly the kind of thing she never did. Tell Mr. Park, Adana heard herself say, that I don't accept drinks from strangers. The security guard blinked. Clearly, that wasn't the response he expected. He spoke into his earpiece, too quiet for Adana to hear. Then he nodded and walked away. Oh my God, Lisa breathed. You just turned down Minjun Park. Is that bad? I don't know. Nobody ever does it. Usually women are throwing themselves at him. Adana took another sip of champagne, her hands trembling slightly. Well, I'm not usual. Not tonight. The crowd shifted, and suddenly he was there. Minjun Park, up close, was even more devastating than from a distance. Tall, at least 6 feet. Broad shoulders under that expensive suit. And his face. God, his face. High cheekbones, full lips, and eyes so dark they looked black in the club lighting. He studied her for a long moment, his expression unreadable. You turned down my drink, he said. His English was flawless, accent barely noticeable. I did. Why? Because I don't know you. The corner of his mouth twitched. Almost a smile. Most people in this club would disagree. They think they know exactly who I am. I'm not most people. No. His gaze traveled over her, slow and deliberate. Not crude, but thorough. Appreciating. You're definitely not. Adana felt heat rise in her cheeks, in other places. This man radiated danger like cologne. Everything about him screamed warning. The way he carried himself. The deference other people showed him. The security lurking at the edges of her vision. I'm in June, he said, not offering his hand. And you are? Adana. Adana. He said her name like he was tasting it, the syllables foreign but beautiful on his tongue. You're here alone? With a friend. But you're running from something. It wasn't a question. Adana's breath caught. What makes you say that? Because I recognize the look. I see it in my mirror sometimes. He leaned closer, his voice dropping. That desperate need to forget. To feel something other than whatever's tearing you apart inside. The accuracy of his words hit Adana like a slap. How could this stranger see so clearly what she was feeling? Dance with me, Minjun said softly. I don't think. I'm not offering you a drink. I'm not trying to take you home. I'm asking for one dance. That's all. And then, if you want me to leave you alone, I will. Adana looked at Lisa, who was staring between them like she was watching a car crash in slow motion. Then she looked back at Minjun, at this beautiful, dangerous man who somehow knew she was breaking. One dance, Adana agreed. His smile was slow and devastating. He took her hand, his palm warm against hers, and led her onto the dance floor. The moment Minjun's hand touched Adana's waist, the world narrowed to just them. The music pulsed around them, bodies moving in the dimmed lights, but Adana couldn't focus on anything except the heat of his palm through the thin fabric of her dress. The way he moved with her, confident and smooth, like they'd done this 1,000 times before. You're tense, he murmured, his lips close to her ear. You're a stranger who everyone seems afraid of. I think I'm allowed to be tense. He laughed. Low and genuine. Fair point. What would make you less tense? Honesty. All right. He pulled back slightly to look at her, his dark eyes serious. I saw you the moment you walked in. You were laughing with your friend, but your eyes were sad. And I thought, there's a woman who's pretending to be fine, but is actually breaking into pieces. Adana's chest tightened. That's not. It's okay, he interrupted gently. I'm breaking too. Just in a different way. The vulnerability in his voice caught her off guard. This man who radiated power and danger, admitting he was broken. What are you running from? Adana asked. Minjun was quiet for a moment, his hand tightening slightly on her waist. Expectations. Legacy. A future I never chose but can't escape. He tilted his head. And you. Betrayal. Trust that was never real. 3 years of my life that meant nothing. It meant something, Minjun said firmly. It taught you who not to trust, what not to accept. Sometimes the worst experiences show us what we deserve. The song changed, something slower, more intimate. Minjun didn't let go. Neither did Adana. I should go back to my friend, she said, but she didn't move. You should, he agreed. But you won't. He was right. God help her, he was right. What do you want from me? Adana whispered. Minjun's eyes searched hers. Honestly? I don't know. I just know I want to keep talking to you. I want to know why someone hurt you. I want to make sure you smile at least once tonight. A real smile, not the fake one you've been wearing. You can tell the difference? Always. Something in Adana's chest cracked open. This man, this dangerous, beautiful stranger, was seeing her in a way Trevor never had. Really seeing her. Come with me, Minjun said suddenly. Where? Somewhere quieter. Where we can actually talk. He must have seen the hesitation on her face because he added, I promise you'll be safe. There's a private terrace upstairs. We can talk, and if you want to leave at any point, you leave. No questions asked. Adana glanced toward the bar where Lisa was watching them with wide eyes and a concerned expression. She should say no. She should go back to her friend, have a few more drinks, and go home to cry in her empty apartment. But she didn't want to be that woman anymore. The safe one. The predictable one. The one who did everything right and still got destroyed. Okay, Adana said. Minjun's expression shifted to something almost like relief. He took her hand again, his fingers lacing through hers, and led her through the crowd. People moved out of his way automatically, conversations stopping as they passed. It was like walking with royalty. Dangerous royalty. They went up a staircase Adana hadn't noticed before, past another security guard who nodded at Minjun without question. Through a door that opened onto a rooftop terrace. The city spread out before them, glittering and alive. The music from downstairs was muted here, just a distant pulse. String lights hung overhead, casting everything in a soft golden glow. There was a small bar, empty and comfortable seating areas that looked more like someone's expensive living room than a club space. This is beautiful, Adana breathed. It's private, reserved for people who need to escape the chaos below. Minjun walked to the bar, grabbed 2 bottles of water from a small fridge. He handed one to Adana. You've been drinking champagne all night. You need this. The gesture was so unexpectedly thoughtful that Adana felt tears prick her eyes. She took the water, grateful. They sat on one of the couches, close but not touching. The night air was cool against Adana's heated skin. Tell me about him, Minjun said quietly. The one who hurt you. Adana took a long drink of water, buying time. Why do you want to know? Because understanding your pain helps me understand you. It was such a strange, honest answer that Adana found herself talking. She told him about Trevor, about the 3 years they'd spent together, the plans they'd made, about coming home with anniversary gifts and finding him in bed with Rebecca. 6 months, she said, her voice cracking. They'd been doing it for 6 months. Every time I was at work, every time I trusted them, they were lying to my face. Minjun's jaw tightened. They're cowards. Both of them. Maybe I'm just stupid for not seeing it.
No.
His voice was sharp. Don't do that. Don't make their betrayal your fault. They're the ones who chose to lie. They're the ones who chose to hurt you. That's on them, not you. Adana looked at him, surprised by the anger in his voice. You sound like you've been betrayed before. Different kind of betrayal, but yes. Minjun leaned back, his profile sharp against the city lights. My family, they have certain expectations. Certain ways I'm supposed to be, things I'm supposed to do. I wanted to be an architect, design buildings that would last centuries, create something beautiful. But I'm the eldest son of the Park family. That comes with responsibilities, obligations, a business I never wanted but can't refuse. His voice was bitter. So yes, I understand betrayal. Mine is just slower, more subtle.
But it feels the same.
Like my life isn't my own. They sat in silence for a moment, two broken people finding strange comfort in each other's pain. What would you do? Adana asked suddenly. If you could do anything. No expectations, no obligations. What would you do? Minjun turned to look at her, his expression soft. I'd design a house. Something simple but perfect. Every angle intentional. Every space meaningful. I'd build it somewhere quiet, away from all this. He gestured vaguely toward the city. And I'd live there. Just exist. Without the weight of everything I'm supposed to be. That sounds lonely. Maybe. Or maybe peaceful. His eyes locked on hers. What about you? What would you do if you could do anything? Adana thought about it. Really thought about it. Something wild. Something completely unpredictable. Something the old Adana would never do. Like what? Like leaving with you tonight. The words hung in the air between them, heavy with possibility and danger. Minjun's eyes darkened. Adana. I know it's crazy, she said quickly. I know I don't know you. I know this is probably the worst idea I've ever had. But I'm so tired of being safe. So tired of doing the right thing and getting hurt anyway. Just for tonight, I want to feel alive. I want to feel like I matter. You do matter. Then prove it. The champagne and heartbreak made her bold. Take me somewhere. Anywhere. Show me what it's like to stop thinking and just feel. Minjun studied her face for a long moment. You don't know what you're asking. Then tell me. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. I'm not a good man, Adana. The things people say about me, about my family, most of them are true. I can't promise you forever. I can't even promise you tomorrow. All I can give you is right now. This moment. And if you come with me, you need to understand that. Adana's heart pounded so hard, she could feel it in her throat. Every rational part of her brain screamed to run. To go back downstairs, find Lisa, and go home. But she was done being rational. I understand, she whispered. Minjun's hand came up to cup her face, his thumb tracing her cheekbone. Are you sure?
No.
But I'm doing it anyway. His smile was beautiful and terrible. Then let's go. Minjun's penthouse was nothing like Adana expected. She'd imagined cold luxury, marble and chrome, sterile and impersonal. Instead, the space was warm. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, but the furniture was comfortable, lived in. There were books on shelves, actual books with worn spines. Art on the walls that looked chosen for meaning, not price tags. This is your home? Adana asked, turning slowly to take it all in. One of them. Minjun moved to the kitchen, an open space that flowed into the living area. Are you hungry? Thirsty? I'm nervous, Adana admitted. He stopped, turned to face her. We don't have to do anything. You can sleep in the guest room. I can sleep on the couch. Or I can call my driver to take you home right now. Whatever you want. The sincerity in his voice steadied something inside her. What do you want? Minjun walked toward her slowly, deliberately, giving her time to move away if she wanted. She didn't. I want to kiss you, he said when he was close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his body. I've wanted since I saw you on that dance floor, looking like fire and fury and everything beautiful in this world. But I need you to want it too. Adana's breath hitched. I came here with you, didn't I? Say it anyway. I need to hear you say it. Kiss me, Adana whispered. Minjun's hand slid into her hair, tilting her face up to his. You're sure? Stop asking and just. He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate and hungry, like he was drowning and she was air. His other hand gripped her waist, pulling her flesh against him, and Adana melted into it. Into him. She'd kissed Trevor hundreds of times. Comfortable kisses. Familiar kisses. This was nothing like that. This was fire and want, and the feeling of being completely consumed. Minjun kissed her like she was the only thing in the world that mattered, like he'd been waiting his entire life for this moment. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Minjun rested his forehead against hers. Stay with me tonight, he murmured. Let me make you forget everything that hurt you. Let me show you how you should have been treated all along. Yes, Adana breathed. He kissed her again, softer this time, then took her hand and led her down a hallway to his bedroom. The room was dark, intimate, dominated by a massive bed. Minjun turned on a single lamp, casting everything in warm amber light. Look at me, he said softly. Adana met his eyes. If at any point you want to stop, you say so. No explanations needed. No hurt feelings. You're in control here. Always. Understand. Something in Adana's chest cracked wide open. Trevor had never asked, never checked, never made sure she felt safe. I understand, she whispered. What happened next was a blur of sensation and emotion. Minjun's hands were reverent, his touch worshipful. He took his time, learning every curve of her body, every sound she made. He whispered to her in Korean, words she didn't understand but felt in her bones. And when they finally came together, when he moved inside her with a gentleness that made her eyes sting with tears, Adana felt something she hadn't felt in months.
Worthy. Cherished. Alive.
Afterward, they lay tangled in his sheets, Adana's head on Minjun's chest, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on her back. Are you okay? He asked quietly. Better than okay. Adana pressed a kiss to his chest. Thank you. For what? For making me feel like I matter. Like I'm not just broken. Minjun's arms tightened around her. You're not broken. You're healing. There's a difference. Adana closed her eyes, letting his words wash over her. She knew this couldn't last. Knew that in the morning, reality would crash back in. But right now, in this moment, she let herself feel safe. She fell asleep to the sound of his heartbeat, steady and strong beneath her ear. When Adana woke, sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, making her head pound. She groaned, pressing her face into the pillow. The pillow that smelled like expensive cologne and something distinctly Minjun. The memories of last night came flooding back. The club, the rooftop, the way he'd touched her like she was precious. Adana sat up slowly, looking around the empty bedroom. Where was he? On the nightstand, she found a glass of water, 2 aspirin, and a note written in elegant handwriting. Had to handle something. Didn't want to wake you. Take your time. There's food in the kitchen. My driver will take you anywhere you need to go. MJ. No phone number. No promise to call. Just a note and an escape route. Adana's chest tightened. What had she expected? He'd been honest about what he could offer. One night. Nothing more. She took the aspirin, drank the water, and forced herself out of bed. Her red dress from last night was draped over a chair, but next to it was a t-shirt and sweatpants, clearly meant for her. The thoughtfulness of it made her throat ache. After a quick shower in his bathroom, marble and masculine, Adana dressed in his clothes and made her way to the kitchen. There was fresh coffee in the pot, still warm, fruit and pastries on the counter, and another note. I'm sorry I couldn't be here when you woke up. Last night was... I don't have words for what last night was. If you want to see me again, my number is below. If you don't, I understand. Either way, thank you for trusting me with your pain. MJ. Below the message was a phone number. Adana stared at it, her heart racing. This was the moment. She could walk away. Chalk it up to a wild night, a story to tell herself in years when she was safe and settled and boring again. Or she could take the risk. Text the number. See where this dangerous, impossible thing might lead. Her phone buzzed. Lisa. Girl, where are you? I saw you leave with him last night, and I've been freaking out. Are you okay? Are you alive? Text me back. Adana smiled despite herself and typed back. I'm fine. Better than fine. I'll explain everything when I see you. She looked at Minjun's note again. At the number that represented a door she could walk through or slam shut. Adana took a photo of the number, saved it in her phone. She wasn't ready to text him yet. Wasn't ready to figure out what last night meant or where this could possibly go. But she wasn't ready to close the door either. For now, that was enough. Minjun's driver, a silent man in his 50s, dropped her off at her apartment 2 hours later. Adana thanked him and walked up to her building, still wearing Minjun's clothes, her red dress folded in a bag he'd provided. She needed to call her sister. Needed to figure out how to get her things from Trevor's place. Needed to start rebuilding her life from the ruins of yesterday's discovery. But first, she needed to process what had happened, who she'd become in the span of one night. She unlocked her apartment door, stepped inside, and froze. Everything was exactly as she'd left it yesterday morning. The coffee mug in the sink, her work bag on the chair. But it all felt different now, like she was looking at someone else's life. Adana walked to her bedroom, sat on her bed, and finally let herself think about Minjun. About the way he'd looked at her, touched her, made her feel things she didn't know she could feel. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I know I said I'd give you space, but I need to make sure you got home safely. MJ. Adana's heart jumped. He'd texted first. She stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, home safe. Thank you for everything. 3 dots appeared immediately, showing he was typing. Can I see you again? Dinner. Just talking. Nothing more unless you want it. Adana bit her lip. This was dangerous. He'd said so himself. His world was dangerous. But God, she wanted to see him again.
When?
Tonight.
Tomorrow.
Whenever you want. Tomorrow, Adana typed. 7? I'll pick you up.
Send me your address.
Adana sent it, then immediately wondered if she was making a huge mistake. See you tomorrow, Adana. And for what it's worth, last night meant something to me too. She read the message 3 times, her chest warm, before setting her phone down. 1 date. That's all this was. 1 date to see if last night was real or just a beautiful dream born from heartbreak and champagne. What could possibly go wrong? 2 weeks later, Adana would remember that question and laugh bitterly. Because everything was about to go wrong. Drop a heart emoji in the comments if you're rooting for Adana and Minjun. And tell me, would you have left the club with him? The next 2 weeks were the best of Adana's life. Minjun picked her up for dinner that first night in a sleek black car, dressed in dark jeans and a simple button-down that somehow made him look even more devastating than the suit. He brought her a single rose, deep red, and the gesture was so unexpectedly sweet that Adana felt her walls crumble a little more. You look beautiful, he said, his eyes warm as they traced over her deep purple dress. You clean up pretty well yourself. He smiled. I wasn't sure you'd actually agree to see me again. I wasn't sure either, Adana admitted. But I couldn't stop thinking about you. Good. He opened the car door for her. Because I haven't stopped thinking about you either. Dinner was at an exclusive restaurant Adana had only read about in magazines. They had a private table on the terrace, away from curious eyes, where they could talk without interruption. And they talked. For hours. Minjun asked about her work, her family, her dreams. He listened like every word mattered, like she was the most fascinating person he'd ever met. He told her about growing up at his family, the pressure, the expectations that had shaped every moment of his life. I've never been free, he said quietly, his fingers playing with hers across the table. Every decision, every move, it's all calculated. All planned.
Until you.
What do you mean? You're the first thing I've chosen just for myself. Not because it makes sense. Not because it benefits the family. Just because I want you. Adana's breath caught. Minjun. I know it's fast, he interrupted. I know this is crazy. But I need you to know that whatever this is between us, it's real for me. You're real for me.
She squeezed his hand.
It's real for me too. They saw each other almost every day after that. Sometimes for dinner, sometimes just for coffee between her work meetings. Minjun would text her good morning and good night, checking in throughout the day. He sent her flowers at her office. Showed up with her favorite pastries when she mentioned she'd skipped breakfast. But there were signs. Small things Adana noticed but chose to ignore. The way his phone would ring, and his entire demeanor would change. How he'd step away to take calls, his voice dropping to rapid Korean she couldn't understand. The men who were always nearby, not quite bodyguards but definitely watching, protecting. The way people looked at him in public. Fear and respect in equal measure. Who was that? Adana asked one evening after a particularly tense phone call had interrupted their movie night at his place. Business, Minjun said, his jaw tight. What kind of business? He looked at her for a long moment. The kind you're better off not knowing about. Minjun. Please.
His voice was strained.
Just trust me. The less you know, the safer you are. And because she was falling for him, because his touch made her forget every rational thought, Adana let it go. Lisa wasn't as understanding. Girl, I need to talk to you, Lisa said when they met for coffee 2 weeks after that first night. About him. I know what you're going to say.
Do you?
Because I don't think you do. Lisa leaned forward, her voice low. I did some digging. Adana, the Park family isn't just wealthy. They're connected. Like, seriously connected. There are rumors about money laundering, illegal operations, violence. And Minjun is at the center of it all. Adana's stomach churned. Those are just rumors. Are they? Have you asked him directly what he does? He said it's business. That's not an answer. Lisa grabbed her hand. I love you. You're my friend. And I'm terrified for you. This man, no matter how charming he is, no matter how he makes you feel, he's dangerous. His world is dangerous. I know that, Adana said quietly. Then why are you still seeing him? Because he makes me feel alive, Lisa. For the first time in years, I feel like I matter. Like I'm not just going through the motions of a life I'm supposed to want, but never chose. She pulled her hand back. I know it's risky. I know it might end badly. But right now, he's mine, and I'm not ready to give that up. Lisa sighed, defeat clear on her face. Just promise me you'll be careful. And if anything feels wrong, anything at all, you'll get out. I promise. But Adana's world was about to shatter in ways she couldn't imagine. It happened on a Thursday evening. Adana was leaving work late, her heels clicking against the concrete of the parking garage. She was texting Minjun, smiling at his message about picking her up for a late dinner, when she noticed her car. The driver's side window was smashed. Adana's heart jumped into her throat. She approached slowly, pulling out her phone to call the police, when she saw it. Written across her windshield in red spray paint, stay away from Park or die. The phone slipped from her hand, clattering to the ground. No, she whispered. No, no, no. Her car door was open. Adana peered inside with trembling hands. The seats were slashed, stuffing pulled out. Her registration, insurance papers, everything scattered and destroyed. But it was what sat on the driver's seat that made her blood run cold. A single bullet. And a note. This is your only warning. Leave him or next time we won't miss. Adana stumbled backward, her vision swimming. This couldn't be happening. This was a nightmare. It had to be. Her phone rang where it had fallen. Minjun's name flashed on the screen. She grabbed it with shaking hands. Hello. Adana? Are you alright? You sound. My car, she choked out. Someone destroyed my car. There's a note. A bullet. They said. Her voice broke. Where are you? Minjun's voice was suddenly ice.
Cold and deadly.
Tell me where you are right now. Work parking garage. Level 3. Don't move. Don't talk to anyone. I'm 5 minutes away. He hung up. Adana stood there in the harsh fluorescent lighting, staring at her destroyed car, at the threat painted across her windshield, and realized with horrible clarity what Lisa had been warning her about. This was Minjun's world. Violence and threats and danger. And now, because she'd fallen for him, because she'd let herself believe she could have something beautiful, she was a target. The sound of screeching tires echoed through the garage. 3 black SUVs pulled up, surrounding her. Men in suits poured out, weapons visible, securing the area with military precision. Then Minjun was there, pulling her into his arms, his hands running over her like he was checking for injuries. Are you hurt? Did they touch you? No, I'm fine. I just found it like this. Hyunwoo, Minjun barked in Korean to one of his men. Get footage from every camera in this building. I want to know who did this. I want names, addresses, everything. Minjun, what's happening? Adana pulled back to look at him.
Who did this?
Why? His jaw was tight, eyes blazing with fury. My uncle. Your uncle? There's a war happening in my family. A power struggle. I'm trying to legitimize our business, move away from the old ways. My uncle wants to restore them. He cupped her face with both hands. They're using you to get to me, to distract me, to hurt me. Oh my God. You're not safe here. You need to come with me. Now. Come with you where? Somewhere secure. Somewhere they can't reach you. He was already guiding her toward one of the SUVs. I have a place outside the city. Guarded. Safe. Until I handle this. Handle this? Minjun, this is insane. Adana's voice rose with panic. There's a bullet in my car. They threatened to kill me, and they won't get the chance. His voice was steel. I won't let anyone hurt you. Ever. But I need you to trust me. Please, Adana. Trust me. She looked at his face, at the desperate fear in his eyes. This man who commanded respect and fear from everyone around him was terrified. For her. Okay, Adana whispered. Okay. They drove in silence, Adana's mind racing. She watched the city disappear behind them, replaced by suburbs, then countryside. They drove for over an hour before turning onto a private road that led to massive gates. The gates opened automatically, revealing an estate that looked more like a fortress. High walls, security cameras everywhere, armed guards patrolling. This is where you're going to stay, Minjun said as they pulled up to a sprawling mansion. You'll be safe here. My most trusted men will watch over you. For how long? I don't know.
His voice was heavy.
Until I end this. Until my uncle understands he can't threaten what's mine. What's mine? The possessiveness in his voice should have scared her. Maybe it would have before. But now, seeing the lengths he was willing to go to protect her, Adana felt something else entirely. She felt claimed, protected, chosen. Don't leave me here alone, she said softly.
Please.
I know you have things to handle, but don't leave me alone. Minjun pulled her close, pressing his lips to her forehead. I'm not going anywhere tonight. Tomorrow I have to meet with my father with the family. Figure out our next move. But tonight I'm yours. He led her inside the mansion. It was beautiful, traditional Korean architecture blended with modern luxury. But Adana barely noticed. All she could think about was the threat spray-painted across her windshield, the bullet on her seat, the fact that falling in love with Minjun Park might actually get her killed. That night, they didn't make love. They just held each other, Minjun's arms wrapped around her like he could shield her from the world through sheer will alone. I'm sorry, he whispered into her hair. I'm so sorry I brought this into your life. I chose this, Adana said. I chose you. You didn't know what you were choosing. Maybe not, but I'm still here. Minjun's arms tightened. I won't let them hurt you. Whatever it takes. Whatever I have to do. You're safe. I promise. But promises, Adana was learning, were fragile things in Minjun's world. And the war had only just begun. This story is far from over, and things are about to get even more intense. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. Comment below, Team Minjun or Team Run. Let me know in the comments. Part 2 is coming soon, and trust me, you don't want to miss it.